have no apologies for believing in God. We know that the first thing God did when he was in the was to manage water. Water wasn't created, God organized it. That's what the Bible says. Then he put some above and some below. So water has been here and will always be here. It has nothing to do with sin, because sin found water here. But if you move across to where engineer comes from, it's also very important part of that spiritual engagement, because you are then talking wudu. But aside from that, we are lucky in Uganda where quite a number of things have stopped functioning properly. Whether it is traffic, sometimes you don't know whether you're on the right side of the road or the wrong one. It's also very common to be on the right side and those on the wrong one ask you to leave the right side and go to the wrong one. So I speak with pride about a Ugandan organization managed by Ugandans that is functional in a society in which you scamper around for things working properly. And it's not often for us in the media whose business it is to find what doesn't work, to say what I am saying. So you understand where I'm coming from, and I'm one of the loudest mouths out there. I can assure here I am, and with pride. I speak about National Water and Sewerage Corporation with pride, that Ugandans, when they decide, they can do things properly. I think the other thing that entity that I knew that works as well was First Technologies. That entity was also working properly. I mean, properly. So the job you're doing here is a job that should be lauded, and some of us speak with and about it with pride. These days I get invited in many places. There are places I don't go because I don't want to associate myself with what they're doing there. Although I give other reasons for not going. I say that my itinerary is busy, but I just don't want to go there. So very well done for what you're doing here. So yesterday we were going over what you're doing very well in terms of the infrastructure that is being set up, whether that is Katosi or what we heard about the West and Southwestern, or the North and Eastern, or the Central. Those of us watching Ugandans that intend to continue using water, I can assure you, a lot is being done by the resources we have here. Those of you who are paying, apart from one Geno, there's a Geno I know who does not pay for water. I mean, a general does not pay for water, but I hear he lectures patriotism. I don't know what patriotism, but let's pay for water. We learned yesterday, and I was surprised how cheap water is, because I was told a whole jerrycan costs 85 shillings. Now, bottled water costs 1,000 shillings. There's 40 of those in a jerrycan. So who doesn't want to pay for that cheap water? I have also learned that at the public standpoint, it is 25 shillings. And they've also been providing some free, because they've been told, some of you Ugandans, we have to plead with you and bring projects to get you to wash your hands. Because if projects don't come here to get you to wash your hands, you have cholera and dysentery and all sorts of diseases. Now there is corona. So we want to thank you so much. I also did hear yesterday that sometimes they just become so generous here at National Water and Sewerage Corporation that they go and help harvesting some water at some schools and choice destinations, but the technology they use is such that the water from the rain goes into some channel and then it desilts, and then we have the better water going off. I thought that you're being very selfish, you should share it with everybody, because For us, what we do, we get it from the roof, put it into the tank, and then drain it out. No wonder we have the challenges that we do. So that was interesting to hear. I also heard that those of you in Nalia, in Namgongo, and all those areas that they call new money, bear with us. We are about to finish. I mean, bear with us, we're about to finish. And when we are finished, besides not just finishing, I also learned that they're using a very small portion of the road with a very good contractor called Sogea to do a fantastic job. Where they have come from looks better than they found it. I've also seen towards Ntinda, they're doing a very good job of replacing. And that is very good. So they will get to Naguru where we moved. You know, all good things are in Naguru, whether it's NBS or National Water. We are all converged around that place. So they'll get to my neighborhood, and then water will go down and it will get to most of the places. I also had, and I'd like to inform you, the National Water and Sewerage Corporation, working with other partners, does not get into the business of breaking our roads, because they've got technology that goes under the road. When they can't, they work with other entities to do it in an organized way. So I heard, they also don't do it at night. So if you find individuals at night and they don't have the identification, even if they have overalls, you call us. We NBS, we like to give people fame. We will give them some moment of fame, like we did some night dances. So thank you so much for that. So we do know now that in many areas, whether that is Chiruhura or in Kapeka where the industrial park is growing, or I also heard in many places in Mbale and in Tororo, big towns, and in the north of the country, the president was in the business of launching that. If the president gets out of his business schedule to come to launch things, that means that those things matter. So in a nutshell, we've got every reason to be hopeful. One, water will definitely be in your house, because here we believe in water for all with an element of development. If it can't get to your house, they want you to walk only 500 meters from the water out of your house. That's what we had, and I was very excited. Because when it went off in my neighborhood in Naria, some chaps came selling us water at 100,000 shillings to fill my 1,000-liter tank, simply because they had these big trucks. So I was asking yesterday, where did they get it from? I hope they didn't get it from you for peanuts and sold it to us. Then somebody said, it was some who, I learned here that there's a guy here, he's one of your managers, regional managers. He said he's an engineer, commercial engineer. The reason is because he's the only non-engineer at that level among engineers, so he's become an engineer by osmosis. What was his name? Mohanji was the name. So he's the only commercial engineer among engineers. But NBS investigates, he's going to investigate his papers. So fellow Ugandans, ladies and gentlemen, it's good days ahead. We are all going to get connected at some point, but we are moving ahead of schedule, in my opinion. Most of the targets have been met, at least that's what we had. And I'll continue to quiz these gentlemen and ladies who will be on the panel. But thank you so much. What we want to do on the storage aspect, I'll say this. I was taken around the plant here yesterday, and I was excited by what is being done here. And this is it for stakeholders, especially in the towns. City planners have got to get into the business of working with National Water and Sewerage Corporation. Because what I heard is that the facility is working almost in the region of 50% of its capacity. Why? Because people are not connected. There is a facility and you're digging a septic tank. Dr. Chiseka, some of you did not know about him. He used to say, no batunulira, sempala no mulaba, nolowooza ng'alina amagezi ng'atalabika ng'ategeera naye nga baabwe teritegeera. That was Dr. Chiseka. It literally says, it is cheaper and more environmentally friendly for you to connect on the grid, sewer grid, then you get more money and you dig a septic tank and what else? The other drainage system, whatever they call it, I've forgotten. You pay more and you all put in the environment and nobody's treating. So I'm hoping that city planners, stakeholders here can work with us so that we stop this irresponsible, reckless, illogical, and patriotic idea of private septic tanks when we are developing a national grid. And those who agree with me said amen. God forbid that anybody in this room who is in the business of building close to where we are leaves this room and then goes to dig a septic tank. You will remind me of people who work with an organization in this country that manages environment, who bring charcoal on vehicles marked NEMA. Let's not operate like that. So that's some of what I had yesterday, and it is exciting. But I also saw when they took me through the places where they are sieving rubbish and all, and I thought we're a very responsible town. Because here, when you're building facilities like this, you have the 100-meter gauge, then you have the 40-meter gauge, then I think is 10 and then 6-meter gauge. We're trying to sift rubbish, much of it that comes from people who are ideally supposed to be responsible. Sometimes I look at things done by people who went to school, and I think that some of us need to go and sue our universities for obtaining money by false pretense, because they gave us papers, the education we never got. It seems as if that is the case. I will only leave after a thunderous applause. Is there one? Mr. MC, come back. I'll resume my seat later.
Kasumba, for that background. I would now like to invite you to listen to some videos that have been recorded.
After its...
Yes, please, can we have the videos play right away?
Establishment in 1972, the National Water and Sewerage Corporation endured trying times. However, since 1986, it has been a paragon of growth and steady progress, buttressed by astute management and planning, which has seen it lauded worldwide as a high-performing parastatal.
From 1986 up to date, a lot of progress has been made. For example, a lot of infrastructure has been put in place. The towns that the National Water was in 1986 were just 4. We are now in 58 towns of Uganda. The service coverage has increased. We have increased the coverage from about 16% in 1986. We are now a pipe water coverage of 84 in the urban centers where we are within the municipal boundaries. And when we go into the rural parts, we are about 73%. So we've made a lot of progress.
Having started out as a loss-making body, NWSC now enjoys revenue surpluses of over 100 billion.
So the capacity of the institution to invest on its own has increased, although we still get money from government to supplement our efforts, especially for big projects.
Key to this success is a proactive legislative environment embodied by the National Water Act and continued support from the government and development partners. The NWSC workforce has been steadily improved and is optimally balanced between engineering, water quality, HR, and commercial management lines of expertise. No wonder that service coverage continues.
Well, we have had a lot of projects which we have implemented, working with government, working with development partners. But of recent, we have huge infrastructure projects. We have a huge Katosi water project, which is going to add 160 million liters of water per day to the greater Kampala. And this will bring a total to 400 million liters of water per day, much higher than the current demand, which is about 300 million liters of water per day.
All water supply challenges within the city will be solved. We want to request our customers to be patient with us. I know it's been a journey that we work together. The challenges we've gone through, especially the areas of Kasangati, Gayaza, Chalwajara, Namugongo, Mukono, we haven't been able to serve you with reliable supply as we would have wished to. But right now we can assure you next year, February, this project will be complete and we'll make sure that all the people who haven't been getting water get reliable water supply 24 hours.
We have implemented many other projects. We have 100% service coverage acceleration project that we are implementing in all the towns where we are operating, and this has drastically increased our infrastructure coverage and increased the number of people we are serving.
As National Water, we came up with immediate solutions to the water supply challenges. We tried to identify areas that were not able to provide water 24-hour supply, and we tried to install such tanks. These tanks are addressing two big problems. One is for water supply, especially places where we can't provide people with water. But the second biggest challenge is also to make sure that water is affordable.
In the past 5 years, the number of those with access to water in urban areas has increased from 5 million to 15 million, and rural water access now stands at 73%.
We are constructing a project in SEMBABULE to increase water coverage there. We have finished the project in BUSHENYI. We have finished the project in Arua. We finished the project in Guru. We are almost starting a project in Mbare, which is going to increase water there.
Further projects are ongoing or are soon to be commenced in Palisa, Kumi, Isinjiro, Masaka, Masindi, and Bimbawe.
We want to thank the development partners and the government and also the staff of the National Water who have worked very hard to generate internal revenues to support these projects.
And as it nears its 50th anniversary, NWSC remains focused on delivering on its mandate.
National Water is going to use a pragmatic approach. We are going to work in line with the NDP 3, and the most important strategic priority areas of NDP 3 where National Water is going to concentrate is achievement of 100% service coverage, water service coverage, a drastic improvement in sanitation coverage. We also want to work a lot with our staff to improve their skills, because skilling is an important area in NDP 3. And we also want to do a plethora of activities to enhance operational wealth creation agenda of this country, increasing the number of people who are employed so that we can be very, very helpful to the operational wealth creation.
Thank you. That was a recorded video of NWSC at a glance. Those of you who are just joining us now would like to welcome you here. Chairman of the board, we also have representatives of Operations Wealth Creation who have joined us here. I would like to welcome you in a very special way and ask you to stand up for recognition. Thank you very much for coming. We are now going to receive a presentation on NWSC performance and key improvements. This presentation is going to be given by the Deputy Managing Director, Technical Services, Engineer Johnson Amayo. Please come and let's welcome.
Okay, Mr. Chair, the members of the board, I want to observe all protocol. My presentation is supposed to take 15 minutes. It's just going to be a highlight of what transpired yesterday by the regions. They presented a lot yesterday, and the video clip also summarizes some of the key things I'm going to present. Can you go to the next slide? Now, that slide shows us, okay, that slide shows us, where do I point now? It's not working. So that slide shows us really the NWC mandate, what is our vision, what's our mission, what are the strategic areas of focus under our strategic direction. I think there's a problem of it has gone to. Can you take the presentation back? Wait. It's taking it forward. So that is our strategic focus areas. We're really talking about infrastructure growth and the service reliability. And then we are also looking at the financial growth and expansion, customer and stakeholder management, and learning and growth. Those are the focus areas of National Water. Can we go to the next slide? Now, that slide shows some key achievements we have recorded. As of now, we are in 258 towns. Let me talk about it. We have 724 connections in the last 6 years. The last 4 years under this strategic direction period. We have increased the number of connections from 530 to 724. We have also doubled the number of public standposts where water is delivered at 25 shillings a jerrycan. And that has been courtesy of the SCAP 100. Then we have also increased significantly the pipe network. We have expanded the sewage network. And then we are doing more water in terms of production. And most important, our revenue, the turnover, increased from 321 billion to 463 billion in a year. So that is, in a nutshell, the overall performance indicators. And the last, most important, is that 4 years ago, we had, about 4 or 5 years ago, when we had a profit before depreciation of 34, and now we are talking of 103 billion. So those are key indicators. Can we go to the next? That table just shows the details of our key performance indicators. I don't need to go through them, but it also shows how we have been progressively growing over the last couple of years. Looking at the period 2016 to 2020. Next. Now, coming to regional specifics, these highlights were given by the presenters yesterday, but this is just for recapping. We have the central region. It has 16 areas, and we are serving more than 3 million people. Another important thing is that in most of the towns we're able to have at least 20 hours of service reliability. There are a few who may be getting less, but our average is that. And the other thing is that the central region will have 149,000 connections. Now, central region, maybe it is good to define, to make to understand, it is Busoga and Buganda minus Kampala. That's what we define as central region. Because in most cases, when people talk about the central, the focus is on, so these two from the central region. Next slide. Now, that is just some highlights of completed projects. In the last 4 years, we did the Kapeka phase 1. Now we are in the process of doing phase 2 of Kapeka. We are also designing and developing a project for Masaka. And then we are doing the SEMBABULE project. There's also another project which we have not mentioned here. It is called the Wakiso West, where we will be focusing on the southwestern part of Kampala, going up to Mbigi. And we are developing that project with the Danish business in sustainable infrastructure finance. We are now moving to the stage of doing detailed design. And that design cost is going to be funded by Danish sustainable business on a grant basis. So we are soon signing an MOU which should be able to cover the cost of design, detailed design. So next. That now goes into details of the projects. When we look at the Masaka project, it will cover all those areas. We are looking at Lukaya, Kalisizo, Chotera, Sanje. Okay, so that project will benefit. Can we go to next slide? That is it. That is the Kapeka phase 2. The project is 90% complete, and we are increasing the capacity of Kapeka to around 9,000. And it will supply the industrial park and then the communities around Kapeka. We also have been laying a pipe to Semuto before we reach Kapeka. We have done a 15-kilometer extension there. And we'll be looking at hooking Nakaseke in future on that capacity. Can we go to the next slide? Yeah. So that is SEMBABULE. We are increasing the capacity from 300 cubics to 3 million. Basically, I can say SEMBABULE didn't have water to supply. And this project is being funded 100% by National Water and Sewage Corporation. And also Kapeka is 100% funded by National Water and Sewage Corporation, a big significant contribution. But the government is also supporting to a certain extent. So that is that. Can you go to the next slide? That one takes us to east and north region. These are just fact sheets. How many areas, the population we are serving, how much water we're producing, and the number of hours of supply, around 19. So same stuff. But this region starts from Busia up to Koboko. So it is probably the widespread region. So can we go to the next slide here? Here is a quick reflection of the projects we are doing. We did the Arua project, Gulu, there's Kapchorwa. Go ahead. Hello? Yeah, next slide. So this gives details of some of those projects. Arua, we did a reservoir of 3.5 million capacity. We upgraded the water treatment facility to 14 million. We built the 2 sewerage systems, expanded the network by close to 80 kilometers, large diameter pipes. We did about 7 production wells. Arua, sometimes when there's dry season, the river dries, but we're lucky to have a lot of water in the ground. And therefore, during such periods, we produce. So that was the scope. And I think the board members who will be visiting Arua very soon will be able to see what we have been able to do. Those are some of the pictures. Can we go to the next slide? That one is giving us, that is the Gulu project, which we are privileged to have it commissioned politically by His Excellency, the President. It involved construction of upgrading the water treatment plant to around 12 million capacity from originally 4 million. And then we did the fecal sludge, we upgraded the sewage system, and also expanded the pipe network. Next. That is a Kapenguria water supply system where we have increased the water production capacity to 3 million. I was in Kapchorwa some time back. They had a system where the water was not being treated at all. So when National Water took over, one of the immediate measures we took was to finance this project. And this was funded 100% by National Water and Sewage Corporation. It's complete. It is operational now. Next. That gives us the ongoing projects. One of them is maybe Parombo Water Supply Project. This is a flagship project which we were requested to do, and we are doing it from scratch. There is no water system in Parombo, and the National Water has been able to do some production wells. We are now laying the network, which has been much completed. The reservoir has been constructed. Our target was that by Christmas they should have water, but we are still working hard towards that. Now we have the Gulu Karuma Water Supply Project, which is the phase 2, where we're going to get water from River Nile, and extend that pipeline by around 90 kilometers. And all the villages along that road will be supplied with the piped water from Karuma. And the township of Karuma is also going to be supplied by this project. We are happy to report the civil works of the intake works were completed. What is remaining is just the installation of pipes, and then the new water treatment plant and the pipeline. And the procurement for works is ongoing, and we expect to start construction next year. So that is that. Then we have a Jumani still is in design phase. We are also going to get water from River Nile, which is about 16 kilometers away from that town. Mbale, we are going to increase significant production capacity of Mbale to take care of all the neighboring towns, Butaleja, Busolwe, Kadama, Tirini. All those will be supplied from this system. And the plan is that when the other schemes are also developed, they will all be handed over to National Water. So we are doing the primary infrastructure in Mbale. Our colleagues in the Ministry of Water are doing the other small schemes, but at the end of it all those schemes are going to come under National Water. Can we go to the next slide? That is the South and Southwest cluster. Also a fact sheet, 2.7 million people have been served, 21 areas, 57 branches, hours of supply 19, and we have a total of 130 connections. And then PSP is also, which is a means for delivering water to the least, the most disadvantaged communities. We have about 7,000. Can we go to the next slide? That summary of projects we have done in the Western Uganda during this period of time. You can go to the other to the details. Next. So that is a BUSHENYI water treatment plant of a capacity of 3,150. That is the phase 1. We hope to be able to double that phase in future time to come. And this project is operational, and we'll be very happy if it can also be commissioned the way we did Gulu. And it involved building reservoirs. We did a number of different project activities. So, next. These are the package plants which we did in Kisoro and Fort Portal to treat sewage. And I can tell you the effluent which comes from there is sometimes it is difficult to know whether it is water for drinking. It gives very good. So this is a kind of technology we want to start promoting. Yeah, you can go to the next. We have also done upgrade of Fort Portal water treatment facility, because Fort Portal had already reached the limit of the production capacity. So we put in some money and we were able to increase the production capacity by 3 million using NWSC internally generated funds. Can we go to the next slide? That those are ongoing projects in the Western Uganda. We are having this Southwestern cluster project where we're going to get water from the river Kagera. We'll have a bulk transfer to Mbarara. We're also going to upgrade Mbarara's water infrastructure. But there are other smaller projects which we're also going to do. The water supply extension Kasese Industrial Park is being done in partnership with the NADS, and we hope to have this completed as soon as possible. And we have also embarked on Hoima. Hoima has a serious supply problem, and we want to do a rapid activity to make sure that we don't have a problem of supply. So this will involve doing some more production wells and then upgrading the current water treatment facility so that we can stabilize supply there. Next. That is my Kampala water. Those are numbers. You know, big is big. We can see 350,000 cubic meters of water produced in a year. And we have 7.5 million people in the greater Kampala who are served. So everything here is big, big. Yeah. Can we go to the next? In terms of infrastructure within Kampala, we have had the sewage treatment plant, which is across, and I think the stakeholders visited some of them, if not, yeah. Then we are doing we have the famous Katosi project, which is now, we are there. We're about to start technical commissioning. Our target is next month. And the problems of water supply in the east and northern part of Kampala will be addressed because we are doing a big reservoir at Sonde, and that reservoir will supply most of that area. And we're also going to improve on the water we receive in Naguru, which already is overstretched because of demand. So as soon as this project is done, the immediate beneficiaries will be the Naguru, people who are under Naguru subsystem, because the pipes are already there. You only need to maintain a good level of, yeah. Next. There I'm looking at, this couple hundred, I think I've talked about it before. Yeah, next. So that is Katosi in pictures. They did not give me a good picture. My people were helping me to edit this. But the video really showed what you see in Katosi. And also those who had a chance to go to Katosi can see the level of infrastructure which is being done so that we can improve water supply here. But in a nutshell, we have a plant where we are doing the initial intake. The intake capacity is 240 million liters per day. But the waterworks, we are going to do 160 million. The other 80 million will be added. We are doing three big reservoirs, 40 million liter capacity reservoirs. Reservoir capacity in a place called Nsumba. And then we have done the pipe work is almost complete. I must say it is complete. And the reservoir in Sonde, the booster. That is what this project is all about. And amid these other interventions were earlier done. Next. Those are just numbers in terms of the SCAP 100. What this project aimed at achieving? We had wanted to do 140,000 connections, 8 kilometers, 20,000 PSPs, 12,000, and the numbers show that there has been quite a good, in terms of percentage-wise, we've been able to surpass the targets we wanted to do during the period of implementation of SCAP. Next. Those are just challenges, climate-related challenges, inadequate infrastructure. The need is always increasing, so we need to do a lot more. And we have issues of course, project financing, and of course, COVID had a big impact on our performance. When I showed you the statistics in terms of global NWC achievements, I showed that in this financial year, our billing did not increase. It remained like the one of last financial year. And that was basically due to the fact that we had a setback during the COVID period. And if it was not for COVID, we would have billed much more than that amount. So that is what I had prepared to just to give highlights on what we have done and what, yeah, thank you very much.
Once again, the theme is delivering the promise of water for all. Chairman, within the context of this theme, we are going to receive some perspectives from some key stakeholders in the private sector, in government, and from the customers. The first perspective is given by Honorable Eli Karuhanga, the Chairman, Private Sector Foundation, and it is on the importance of water in developing national economic development and the private sector expectations of NWSC. It's a recorded statement. He's not here, but we are going to play that recorded statement. I invite you to listen to it.
I'm the chairman of the Private Sector Uganda, PSFU. I'm also the chairman of the Uganda Chamber of Mines and Petroleum. I'm very pleased to be with you and talk to you in this National Water Baraza. On behalf of the private sector, we are very pleased to pass our compliments to the National Water and Sewage Corporation. You definitely are doing a good job. I can tell you without any doubt in my mind that you are one of the few organizations that I talk about in different places which has stood out to be an example of the trust that we have in government being able to do business. Because there is a general belief that the government is incapable of doing business, that people who work for public sector cannot do as good a business as people in private sector. The National Water and Sewage Corporation management and team and staff have proved the way that actually public servants can render services to the people as if they were in private sector. So I thank the board and management led by Dr. Silva Mugisha and their team for a wonderful job we are doing. About 5 years ago, 2014, I was honored to be invited to be with you at your training center here in Yankoko. I was able to see your training center and see what you have been able to do to impart knowledge to your staff. I congratulate you for the national expansion program that you have done, where you have now moved from 23 towns 5 years ago to 256 towns. Congratulations, well done. You at that time were laying about 80 kilometers a year. You are now laying 2,000 kilometers of pipes a year. You are contributing to our healthy environment, controlling disease, and you are putting our country in a good scale. We are very proud of you. My friends in the private sector are happy. We have invited industries who are putting up industrial parks. We are running to put up very good water system at Kapeka. Every industrial center which has been set up around Uganda, we are finding you there. Well done. Keep it up. Frankly, the water supply system that we are expecting from River Kagera, supplying the singular people who are short of water, going to Bayara, take over the water supply, which River Wizi cannot do anymore, because, as you know, River Wizi has been overrun by environmental concerns. The water is dirty, full of soil, and cannot be used. And now during the dry season, what are you seeing? The river almost dries up. I was chairman of the Nile Breweries when we set up that plant in Bayara. We were having great challenges of water. So I'm glad now we are going to get water from River Kagera, which is going not only serve Bayara, but will come through the Antonde, and serve all those environments of Chirugura, come through the Antonde town, all the way to Masaka, and satisfy the needs of our people. The strides you are making at the National Water and Sewage Corporation are evidence for me that your management, Dr. Silva, I give you thumbs up. We have trust and belief in our people, in our young Ugandans who have had good education and who are capable to fight this war on patriotic lines and ensure that our government can run business. We are looking for success stories from them like we are getting from the national water. At Uganda Private Sector Foundation, we are behind you. We are your supporters. Investors who come here, we tell them that as far as water is concerned, it's a done deal. Best of luck. I am happy to be part of this baraza.
The second perspective we have is from the PSST, the Permanent Secretary to Treasury, Mr. Keith Mwakanisi, who shared his views on shareholder view of NWSC performance and expectations. It's also a recorded statement that I invite you to listen to.
First of all, good morning. The most important priorities, as you know, is the infrastructure. And within infrastructure, apart from electricity, transport infrastructure, the most important area we are government of Uganda is focusing on is the supply of of water, both for production and for human beings. As a result of these investments are focused in those areas. I just want to say that in view of this, we have been working together with Ministry of Water, but more importantly, National Water and Sewage Corporation, to ensure that people get safe water for consumption in most urban areas, but they have also gone to now, as you know, also to rural areas. If I take you there, which was not the case earlier on, and also to supply water for industrial production in particular. So we are very happy, especially under the new management of Mr. Mudisha. They have scaled up the investments. People have more water, as you know, and I'll give you an example. For example, Kampala, about 8 years ago, or say 6-7 years ago, you remember we had a lot of intermittent water supply, and a number of areas didn't have water. Almost every town in Uganda today, it has now safe water flowing, but also regularly getting reliable water on a regular basis. And this has been, for example, this has been very, very helpful during the Corona days. We have just finished a survey, which we do for every month, which was presented under my chair yesterday with you boss at World Bank and whatever. We found many areas are now, people are saying, yes, we had enough water for, this was very interesting. So how has that enough water come? I think it's the scale up of the investments, scale up of the supply, focusing on the service delivery, and we thank the management of National Water and Sewage Corporation and their board for scaling up those areas. Today, really, 8 years ago, you will be hearing everybody, especially in face of election, people crying, we need water, water. Today you can't hear. Why? It's because the service is now available. And we thank them very much for that performance. We shall continue to work together, support them, especially on money for investments where necessary. Thank you very much.
National Water, let's give that a big hand clap. I think there's a lot of appreciation there. Finally, we are going to receive the perspectives on behalf of the customer. We have one of our leaders here, the Deputy Mayor Kampala Central, Sam Ngombia. On behalf of customers, you come and give us your perspectives. Thank you very much.
Good morning. I'm Sam Ngombia, the Deputy Mayor, Kampala Central Division. It isn't always good for me to stand, being a disabled somehow, but being an artist again, allow me stand and deliver my speech. Mr. Chairman, I congratulate you upon being appointed the chairman. We pray that without fear or favor, you serve your people, and I know we'll achieve out of that. So I thank you, all of you, for coming. On behalf of the mayor of this area, I welcome you and pray that you are safe, and we pray that whatever we're going to pick from here will be of our own good. I'd like to thank National Water and Sewage Corporation for the expansion of its services to entire Uganda and also to our areas of jurisdictions. We thank you. If possible, we can even clap for them for the tremendous work that they have done for our people down there. I would also like to thank the Wakose group. Where are you, Wakose? You're there, one? Where? The Wakose, I'm one of them. So I thank you very much again for the tremendous work. Gone are the days when we used to call National Water and we could not get a positive response. But ever since we came up with the Wakose group, at least we have done, or you have done, a good work. The response is so positive. We thank you for that. You always respond on our problems and you fix the issues that we are lacking in our areas. So we thank you. So we thank National Water in this era of COVID. You have done well for our people. Thank you very much. Ever since we got this pandemic, at least something has been done in terms of facilities like hand washing facilities. We thank you, and our people have improved a lot on washing hands and keeping themselves clean. We thank you, but I would like to bring this to your attention, that there are some people that you're leaving, your customers, that you're leaving behind. These are the people living with disabilities. When you come up with these facilities, you don't mind the type of disabilities that your people do have. I'm bringing this to your attention. In some types of disabilities, we are having, there are little people. You are having these hand washing facilities which can't be accessed by these people. Some other people using, they miss some limbs. They don't have hands to open, or legs to open these tanks. I'm just praying that you, when you're coming up with these facilities, look into the disabilities of our people. So if we want to achieve the delivering the promise of water for all means even these other people. Let us bring them all on board so that we can receive and use and enjoy the services of National Water. It will do us good. And we use services, people with disabilities use services on moving. So this era hasn't done us, or people living with disabilities, good. So bear that in your minds, Mr. Chairperson and MD of Water. Please help us on that. I thank you for convening us here for these barazas. I know as customers, our major objective is to bring the feedback to you. But I pray when you bring the feedback, always note and work with those feedbacks, because we are the customers out there. For you deliver services to us, and we really have, when we feed you back, please react and help us on that. I'm the Deputy Mayor of Kampala Central Division, where we have a lot of arcades. And in this COVID-19 pandemic, water is so essential to all of us. But you find the owner of these arcades, they exorbitantly charge these people. So I'm bringing this to your attention, Mr. Chairman and ED, that our people have been charged exorbitantly. You find an arcade fixing a 300,000 shillings per month. You have to pay that whether you want or not. Even though you pay the rent and you don't fulfill the water problem, your chest. You have also to look into that, because for us, we are working for these people and they are suffering. You know what we are going through economically. You pay the rent and then your chest for water. And I've had Mr. Kasuja here telling us a jerrycan of water costing 85,000 shillings. Please, I mean 85 shillings, sorry, it's very small to tell even. You understand, 85 shillings. Even though you bring your water in a jerrycan or in your car, you're again charged. It's a mandatory that you have to pay the 300,000 shillings. Why don't you come up with guidelines to help our traders in Kampala? Water is very cheap and it's a necessity for all of us. Why don't you allow us also to use it fairly? So I'm bringing that to your attention, and I will follow it up. Being a deputy mayor of the area of Kampala Central, I'm going to follow it up to see that our people bafuna obusizo. Because water is very cheap. Why do you allow those people who work on your behalf to take a lot of money out of our people? So once you do that, then everything will be fine. We thank you for the prepaid water. It's very okay and very beautiful for our vulnerable groups and areas or communities that we are coming from. It's a very good because you own your own water. You work with your water. But we pray that you improve on that and also spread it further to other vulnerable communities so that also our people get a better service from you. And another problem with this is that the card back there to Wita Busumuruzo, the one somebody might come disguising for the entire community, but he ends up owning it as a person. So I pray that we increase on how can we access these Busumuruzo, or the cards. And another issue is loading the money. Loading the money on the cards. It takes these people a lot because they have to move from where they are, remember they are vulnerable, to your offices for loading. They cannot be easily loaded. So I also pray that you also look into that, Mr. Chairman, and also ED. Finally, I really want, the promise of water for all. Let us look at all as customers, very important. Abambalozo bulema yata tajja kwongera nnyo service gye tuli, but it's going to destroy whatever you've done. You promised to deliver some, to construct some toilets. In Kampala we have what we call flying toilets. But how do they come in existence? It is people living with disability. I'm sorry, I represent them back there, but at times they have nothing to do. Because if you come up and construct this kind of facility, a toilet for them, and you don't provide them with one very accessible to them, they will end up, because I come with my wheelchair, or I come crawling down. Imagine the nature of the toilet that I'm visiting. So if I don't have my own toilet accessible for my disability, then we will end up damaging the entire city. People will defecate in the Buvera and eventually fly them. So I pray that we help our customers in whatever nature they are. I thank you very much for allowing me. I wasn't supposed to speak, but I was just on a short notice. I was asked to say. So whatever has gone wrong, I apologize. Thank you once again. I'm Sam Gombia, Deputy Mayor, Kampala Central Division.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I can assure you there's a saying that the customer is always right, even when he's wrong. So there's nothing which has gone wrong. This is Water Baraza. We have got remarks from National Water and other stakeholders. We are now going to an interactive session. We're going to have a panel session now, and I would like to invite Sam Kasuja, who is going to be the panelist. I think he's already there to take us through. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I would appreciate the renaming, but I'll still continue. I'd like to invite the company of the Deputy Managing Director, Technical Services, Engineer Johnson Amayo, who has been up. Engineer Amayo, please come and take a seat, perhaps close to yourself. I'd also invite the Deputy MD, Finance and Corporate Strategy, Lady Sylvia Tumheire Ainitwe. She'll also join us up here. And I'd also invite Deputy MD, Board Affairs and Management Services, a very cool designation, that Lady Edith Katete. And in same vein, I also invite Director Business and Science Services. Some of these titles and designations are very cool. I think they're as cool as their remunerations. Dr. Rose Kagwa is also going to join us here. And in also brief, I'd like to invite General Manager Kampala Water, Engineer Mahmoud Lutaya. He will also join us up here. Thank you so much. We'll begin with the gentleman I called first. That is Engineer Mayo. Many people talk about National Water and Storage Corporation, but it seems quite often to lean more on the water side than it does on the storage side, which is also a very important aspect. Talk to us about, some of the engineering challenges you are experiencing in this work, and if you could as well, what is being done to expand the network as far as storage services is concerned?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. I want to be specific on sewage. The best way of delivering sewage services is to encourage gravity flow. One of the challenges we have, for example, in Kampala. Kampala is a hilly place, and therefore it will require a lot of pumping. Now, the other thing is that it's not true that safe sanitation is equal to piped sewage. I always give an example of Sweden, which relies purely on non-sewered systems. So the fact that sewerage infrastructure is far, far more expensive to construct because you need gravity flow, it poses a very big challenge. Therefore, in our strategic plan and the master plan that we had, the idea is to have 30% sewerage coverage for Kampala, but the district of the central business district of Kampala, which are most likely is more of the colonial Kampala. Our idea is to achieve 100% coverage. Now, in the outskirts, we are having we promoted alternative systems. The reason being that people are sitting on 1 acre of land, and the waste you are generating is that very little, and it does not need the major pipe infrastructure. Sewage is ideal where the building density is very, very high and waste generation is high, and it justifies that cost. And that's the reason why, if you go to Lubiji, we have two systems. One for piped sewage, but there's also one for managing on-site sanitation. And we're going to have more of those. We're very soon starting construction of another one in Nalukolongo. So that's really the issue.
Yeah, still on that, are we sure? Because you'd want to assume that the former colonialist and development partners left us a very good template for this city and plant and all. How did we get off that book to the point where we are, that high density arcades and all, in some cases are not connected, and yet they should be because they don't have the 1 acre anyway? Is there somebody, some city authority, I don't want to mention names, that forgot their job that we want to bring on board?
Yeah, Mr. Moderator, generally speaking, the physical planning has had a challenge, not only in the Kampala City Council, but if you look at all the cities which have been created, and also the physical planning is a challenge. That's one. But the development of piped sewerage is going to evolve depending on waste generation. Now, if you reach a point where the population density and the housing density is such that you can no longer be able to retain that waste within your little plot, then you qualify for sewage. Now, a typical example is now, for example, Nakasero, which has now changed usage from domestic to commercial, and that is going to call for serious upgrading, because now the waste, we are now having high-rise structures and so on. Those structures can't retain the waste in those plots. So,
I'm sorry to interrupt, but what I hear you saying is that nobody should be passing those plans for localized sewage. It should be going to the national grid. Isn't that what you're trying to say, albeit in a diplomatic way?
Yes, what I'm saying is where the housing infrastructure is dense, what qualifies to be the appropriate solution is piped sewage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. What I hear the engineer here saying that if anyone passes a plan of high density accumulation or population and they're not connected to the grid, they're unpatriotic and letting us down. That's what I heard. And I think my brain is functioning good enough. Let's get to Lady Tumheire. Water is a human right. We want to believe so. And yes, right, but it should be paid for because the developments we hear are very costly. What's the financial health of this corporation that seems to be doing a very good job? And how do you fund these projects? Is manna falling from heaven lately?
Thank you, Moderator. Good morning to all our viewers. I will answer your question looking at it in 3 ways. That is the question of the financial health of National Water and Sewage Corporation. When I talk about the financial health of the institution, I can define it using 3 definitions. First and foremost, you look at how the corporation, the ability of the corporation to meet her costs, both operational costs and capital costs. National Water is one of the very few government-owned institutions that is able to generate enough income to cover all her operational costs and even save some for investment. This is a fact, and you can, read about it more.
The young people will ask, are you Illuminati?
I think I'm not. But that is a fact. We are one of those very few institutions that cover our costs and even invest from our internally generated incomes. The other way of looking at it is our asset base. Our asset base is now stands at 3.4 Uganda shillings trillion, 3.4 trillion Uganda shillings, and has improved to this position from about Uganda shillings 700 billion in 2012. In 2012, our asset base was about Uganda shillings 700 billion. But right now, we stand at Uganda shillings 3.4 trillion. So with this asset base, the return on investment that we generate using these assets is what gives us the muscle to be able to generate the income that we are proud of. And on this note, of course, I cannot stop or fail to thank our customers who consume the services that we generate using these assets and pay for them and make us, financially healthy. Another of looking at it is testing the going concern of this institution. Every year we are tested on this by the Office of Auditor General, and we have just finished undergoing this test through the audit exercise instituted by the Office of Auditor General. And I want to assure you and assure the audience that we passed this test very well. There is nothing that casts doubts on our going concern as an institution. That is our ability to sustain our operations. So we are very healthy financially as an institution, moderator. On the part 2 of the question, that is how we fund our operations and our projects, it has already been alluded to by the other speakers and presenters. We fund our operations and our projects largely using our internally generated funds, that is the billings and other incomes that we generate as an institution, and also we get funding from the shareholder, the government of Uganda, for major projects, the likes of Cattle Sea and the sewage treatment plants that we already talked about. Back to you, moderator.
Just finally, maybe on that, what innovations are you getting involved in, apart from development partners, to see that we continue to go the direction where we want to go? Because if you talk about everybody having water and also getting it at just 500 meters, it will require money from heaven, and I'm not so sure too many people are tithing towards water there.
Mr. Moderator, National Water, I can confidently say that it is a very, very innovative institution. When you look, I will talk about it also broadly in 3 ways. When you look at our operations, we have largely digitized and automated our processes, and we have been able to do this using our internal capacity. When you look at the software that we use to support our processes, most of it is internally, in-house, developed. The billing system that we used to bill all our customers nationally was developed by our own staff, and we were able to use it, and we were able even to offer consultants along that line to those who need help in that area. So we have also come up with an e-payment system where we are able to make it easy for every customer to pay their bill. You can pay your bill using this system via banks, via internet banking, via telecoms, UTL, MTN, name it, from the comfort of your room, even lying on your bed, you are able to pay our bills. So we have made it very easy by coming up with these innovations.
Thank you very much. And I've also been told that the facility in which we are was built off monies generated from a local consultancy of National Water and Storage Corporation. Is that a rumor or a fact?
That is very much true, and has not only financed this, but also has been able to bring in money to do many other activities of the corporation.
Thank you very much.
My colleague will be elaborating on that later on.
Okay, so in a nutshell, what I hear you saying is that in football, when a team is working very well, you don't change the winning team.
You can't.
Let the reader know what the Spirit says to the churches. Let me go to the lady next here to me. Organizations function as well as the motivation of their employees. Because if you don't motivate them very well, they will become very creative in motivating themselves in ways that could be destructive. How do you motivate people here? I mean, you walk in here and people look like they walk in heaven.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Stakeholders, you're most welcome, and we thank you for coming to participate with us in giving accountability to this nation on what we do. On the issue of motivation, National Water and Sewage Corporation knows very well that a motivated workforce will definitely participate and be able to give you very good performance. Performance is related to motivation, and the reverse is also true. So in National Water, we start with the way we incorporate our staff in what we do. The staff are involved right from the beginning in setting up the vision of National Water. When you know where you're going, you'll know the way, how to get there. The staff are the ones who came up with the vision of being a leading water utility in the world. And they set their targets. They set their goals, and in that goal setting, there is an incentive that is involved. If you achieve your target, you get an incentive. So staff are incentivized for achieving targets on a monthly basis. And our managers are very innovative. They have come up with even other incentives. If staff is very hardworking and he's achieving his targets, you'll go to some branches and you find on their notice boards recognition of some staff who are performing very well. Some other managers have come up with other innovations. If a team is performing well, they take them out for lunch. They can take them out for dinner before COVID came, or even other motivating activities. And for all of us in National Water, we all have targets. Each one has a target, has targets that it has to achieve. Everybody's apprised on target achievement. And for all of us as a corporation, we earn a bonus for achieving targets. Not only that, that's not the only motivating factor. National Water works as a family. We call ourselves a water family. Once you're a member of the family, you know that if you have a joyous celebration, we shall be with you. If you have grief, we shall empathize with you. And whatever you need, you have comfort within the family. So that one keeps us going. To very clearly elaborate that, for us who are seated up here, if I tell you, all of us have been in this corporation for coming, I think Engineer Ma is 30 years, 28 years. I think Madame Sylvia is 27 years. That shows how motivated we are to continue.
You mean 27 is her age or her age in the organization?
Her age in the organization.
Okay, fantastic.
And my age here in the organization is 28 years. So that shows how much we are motivated to continue as a family.
Okay. Let me raise a very brief one here. It's going to require stakeholder engagement in order to achieve what we're talking about. What we're talking about to Engineer Mayo, getting connections on, getting things done, building planners, city engineers, city planners. How are you doing that bit of engaging other stakeholders and other partners in making sure that this huge project of getting water to everybody is done? Briefly.
Thank you very much. We all know that engagement of stakeholders is vital. For the stakeholders to know what you're doing, for them to know your needs or requirements, and for you to account and to tell them the challenges that you have. So in doing that, we look at our various stakeholders, beginning with our sole shareholder, who is the government, and through various ways, mostly through reports, we get to account through the Ministry of Water and Environment, which is the regulator for this organization. We submit reports, quarterly reports, on what we do, and at various meetings, we're able to engage them and tell them what we do. To our customers, who are the reason we exist, we have various ways of engaging them. We have our toll-free line that they don't have to pay for. We always advertise it. They call us, we engage them, we explain to them, we sensitize them on what we do, so that they get to know when we have challenges, when we need them to support us, they get to know that. And with the various stakeholders, as you've mentioned them, with the various authorities, City Council or other authorities where we work, we have meetings with them on a regular basis to inform them what we're doing, to request for their support, and to involve them in what we do, because we all believe that the work we do benefits everybody.
Thank you very much, Lady Katete, and I'd like to let you know that I'm a fully paid up customer. The last bill that came in is 170,000, which I handed over to my wife, who signed to be with me in sickness and in health, for better or for worse.
We thank you for that.
Let me go to Dr. Rose. Environment is such an important aspect, especially now that we're talking global warming. What are the challenges that you're facing in as you go about environmental sustainability? Because some who don't like you, some of your detractors, have been giving you as an example of going into our swamp, saying these ones are also in Lubiji. Talk to us about that.
Thank you very much, Sam, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen, to all those who are listening online. Of course, environment changes in the world are with us today, and I think this morning we experienced a very, very heavy blessing, but also for some a curse. We are facing challenges with regard to the climate changes that are happening, and that is global, but also local. And we continue to face challenges of increased, of course, population that is resulting in urbanization, that is resulting in degradation of our forests and of our wetlands. How does that affect us? As we all know, water is abstracted either from surface water or groundwater. And over the years, we've seen changes in the raw water quality that we abstract. For example, Gaba, which supplies Kampala city, was first commissioned in 1930. And in 1930, you could literally didn't need any treatment. You could abstract the water, pump it, and maybe disinfect it, just to ensure that the water is safe. But as the years progressed, as we continued to settle around the lake, we started seeing a deterioration in water quality. And that meant that we had to increase the level of treatment and as a result put in more infrastructure in handling these challenges, meaning that the cost for production began to go up over time. The other challenge, of course, is where we get these climate change impacts, where we begin to have flooding, and we begin to get some of our infrastructure underwater, and hence we have to again put in more money to see how do we ensure that, one, the floods do not get to our infrastructure, and where we have low-lying areas, be able to raise them. We are working, of course, with the impacts that are happening because of deforestation. You see a lot of siltation, you see landslides washing away some of our pipes, and so the technology that we begin to use now becomes more and more advanced and more costly. The other challenge is that as you increase the production cost, you will begin to increase the cost of water over time. Those are some of the challenges that are affecting us regarding the environment.
Dr. Rose, thank you very much. I'm going to send my daughters to school. When a doctor is explaining scientific things, it's interesting and impressive to listen to. Engineer Utaya, let me come to you. There's an assumption that water is expensive, but added to that, the president had suggested that you should not disconnect us during COVID-19. So you had to be very creative, making sure that you collect money to keep yourselves going. How have you been able to keep that balance?
Thank you, moderator, and good morning, everyone. I think by end of today, that assumption no longer holds to you. I think you've confirmed that water is actually not expensive. Now, during COVID, it was one of the biggest challenge we had. One, we had to provide a service or a commodity that was needed most under very, very challenging periods. We understood the situation in which most of our customers were going through. But one thing that we tried to learn, and I think the COVID provided so many challenges, but also provided opportunities. Wherever you have a challenge, there are always opportunities. And at different levels, people have been giving testimonies on the kind of opportunities they've got through COVID. And as a corporation, also got some opportunities. We managed to bond with our customers. What we try to do during this period is engage a lot with our customers. And our engagement has been more in them trying to understand what is involved in the service we provide. We try to answer the question of why should they pay for the service, and try to explain to them the process we go through to provide the service, and at the end of the day demonstrate to them that actually water is not expensive. And I think from the discussion we've had, water is not expensive. For the public water points, we provide a jerrycan of water for 25 shillings. People who have water in their homes, a jerrycan is for 83 shillings, with taxes included. So that's the message we've been having with our customers, the discussion we've been having with our customers. One, trying to demonstrate to them that actually the service we provide is so, so important, yet it's so, so cheap. Now, through that engagement, we've had very, very positive response from our customers, and I want to use this opportunity to thank all the customers for the support they've given us, because it has been a partnership, it has been a collaboration as we've been fighting this very challenging period. So the positive we've got is that even with the challenges people have been going through, the customers are still being able to pay for their services. And we've managed at least also to fulfill our commitment to make sure that people get water.
Okay, thank you very much. Left with just 20 minutes, I'd have loved to open for a few questions, but as you know, we had a water baraza, and then the skies gave us a water bonanza. There's not too much you can do about that, but I'm left with 20 minutes, and this is what I want to do with the 20 minutes. It is very important for the MD to make his remarks while still on live television, and also invite his employer, who might extend his contract because of what he's done very well, the engineer who is here, who will also be speaking all within 20 minutes. Then, if we still have time, we can come back to the questions. I will maintain my panel here, if you don't mind. So allow me, ladies and gentlemen, to invite Dr. Silva to come and make his remarks. If he makes them very long and his boss speaks off live TV, we will know what will happen.
Thank you very much, my very good friend Sam, the chairman of the board of National Water and Sewage Corporation, the board members, members of top management of National Water, our very beloved, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I want to begin by thanking God, who has made it possible for us to hold this scientific water baraza to discuss with our customers what we are supposed to do and what we have been able to do. Let's give God a very big hand clap. Chairman of the board and board members, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in the last 5 years, as you have seen, the corporation's business has registered significant growth. And I'm not going to go through the trends as has been registered, but I just want to give hope to our customers. You've seen that the towns have grown to 258. I would like to assure our customers that in the next 5 years, we shall grow to more than 400 towns of Uganda, meaning that where we have not reached, we shall definitely reach there. The network is currently about 20,000 kilometers, and in the next 5 years, we shall be more than 30,000 kilometers, and that means where we have not reached, we shall definitely have reached there. Our asset base, as was explained here, is currently at 3.4 trillion. We don't expect it to be less than 6 trillion in the next 5 years, meaning that our capacity to serve our customers will be drastically improved. Our connections, which are currently about 720,000, will definitely have gone to more than 1.5 million. And that means we are going to work very hard to achieve 100% service coverage, and we shall also do drastic improvements in the sanitation sector. One of the areas the presenters have not alluded to is the credit worthiness rating of national water. Our credit worthiness rating now is AA, and that means the institution is in position to go to any financial market provider and get a facility because of this rating. I can assure our customers, I can assure the board that our rating will never go down as far as this is concerned. And therefore, this institution, which we know is solely owned by government, is going to continue to be a very strong going concern. One of the projects where the presenters did not put a lot of light is the 100% service coverage acceleration project. It's a very important project in that it is the one which reaches the people. And I want to assure our customers that as we have demonstrated in the last 3 years, it's going to be the project of focus, even in the next 5 years, to try to reach all those Ugandans that have not been reached. We had slowed down a little bit because of COVID, but I want to assure our customers that right now we have signed call of orders of more than 5 billion. And you will soon see a lot of pipes coming to you, and all these pipes will be coming to you to make sure that those who have not got water get it. Many projects are starting. We only highlighted here projects which have been started and completed by National Water, but there are many other projects which have been completed by the Ministry of Water, our mother ministry. An example of this is the water system in Ngola. We also have a water system in Palisa. Those are new systems. We have a water project in Shuku, in Shema, which is about to be completed and handed over to National Water. We have a project in Rukunjiri, which is about to also be completed. We have a project in Busia, which is about to start. We have many other projects. If we had the time to go into the nitty-gritties of projects we have done, there would be quite many. In the context of the next 3 to 5 years, I want to assure our customers that we are going to work with the board, as our National Water Act says, to see how we can come up with a very strong plan, a plan which is going to be linked to the National Development Plan 3. And in this plan, there are 3 or 4 strategic priority areas that the National Water will interest itself in. One of the areas is 100% service coverage. This one, Mr. Chairman, with your support of the board, I can assure our customers that we shall achieve in the next 5 years. We are also required to make significant inroads in the area of sanitation. Given these projects, the flagship projects you have seen, I can assure you in the next 5 years, we are also going to make significant inroads in the area of sanitation. The area of vocational skills training, we are doing a lot. The President was talking about skilling Uganda. National Water is not going to be left behind in this effort of skilling Uganda, and most importantly and specifically of skilling our own staff to make sure that they have the right competencies, proficient manner. All this, and again linked to the NDP 3, are related to operation wealth creation. When you extend water to people, you definitely make a significant contribution to the operation wealth creation agenda of the country. I can assure the public that National Water currently employs about 4,000 employees, and this is up from about 2,000 5 years ago. So clearly, National Water is contributing a lot towards employing Ugandans, and with this growth we are talking about, we are going to directly contribute towards employment of Ugandans, and also indirectly contribute towards employment of Ugandans through supporting industrial development and through supporting all the other activities that are necessary here. I want to end by underlining the success factors that have helped us to achieve what we have achieved, and one of it was keeping a sharp eye on the shareholder interests, including the duty of care for our esteemed customers and also staff interests. These are the two interests that are extremely very important for us, the shareholder interests and also the staff interests. We have also been, and we shall continue to be, quick at grasping opportunities and possibilities presented by the environment we operate in. Every time we have a new environment, like now we have COVID-19, we are very quick to adapt, and we are very quick to keep the national water as a going concern so that it can continue to serve its customers. And lastly, we can promise our customers, we can promise our government, which is our shareholder, that we shall continue to resonate very well with the government's national development efforts within the confines of the legal context we operate in. So I am standing here to give hope to the people of Uganda that the National Water is here to make a significant contribution as far as piped water coverage for the urban centers is concerned. I want to take this singular honor, Mr. Chairman, to call you to come and talk to your people, but as you come, I want you to remember that the people you see here are the people you taught highways engineering, traffic engineering, and it has contributed to their engineering proficiency. I'm sure you know that you also did a very good job in managing economics of elections in this country, and therefore you are a very much skilled person. So come and talk to the people, come and talk to Ugandans. Thank you very much.
I'm glad we started with the word of God. The prayer was said by someone. The members of the board, our guest of honor was supposed to be the RCC, but represented, I think, by the deputy RCC. District leaders present, our permanent secretary of the Ministry of Water and Environment unfortunately could not make it. National Water and Sewage Corporation Board and senior management, National Water and Sewage Corporation esteemed customers, all the invited guests at your various capacities, my good friend Sam, thank you. Thank you for being with us this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, as we started with the Word of God, I want to thank God again on your behalf. Whoever knew somebody from elections would stand here in a water baraza function? And when I was told there's going to be a water baraza function, I said, what is there? But then you saw this morning, God was very kind. I couldn't ask any more questions when that water started falling on my head as I was walking out of my house. It gives me great pleasure to warmly welcome you all to the National Water and Sewage Corporation Water Baraza 2020. I hope we have more than two. First, I want to thank the Almighty for continuously protecting the people of Uganda from the current pandemic. Oh, heaven forbid, this pandemic of COVID-19. Despite the challenges modeled by the pandemic, National and Sewage Corporation has remained resilient and prioritized service delivery to ensure that the people of Uganda continue to enjoy a quality life. Delivering the promise of water for all is a lauded objective, and we had the commitment expressed very firmly by the MD. So we are watching. The board members are watching year in, year out to see how we meet, and I'm sure we'll get to higher levels. Once again, I wish to welcome all our distinguished guests for sparing your precious time to be here with us. When we as a corporation promote dialogue with our different stakeholders for better service delivery, community and stakeholder engagements are critical because they bridge the gap between the customers' expectations and service provided. It provides a platform for the corporation to sensitize various stakeholders on the key interventions undertaken, achievements, and challenges which are shared with you, and in return, the corporation obtains feedback from the various stakeholders. We are glad to host this event amidst the COVID-19 pandemic with over 50,000 stakeholders participating through digital and online platforms. This is an outgrowth of the coming of COVID. Otherwise, previously we would need to have face-to-face intervention. So, good Lord must have known why COVID was brought. We are glad to host this event amidst the COVID-19 pandemic, with over 50,000 stakeholders participating through digital and online platforms, because it enables us to obtain feedback from our customers. I'm restating this. Stakeholder engagement has been incorporated into the corporation's day-to-day schedule, and we are constantly in touch with our customers on various media platforms, including the 24-hour call center, the customer online chat, Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, and various community sensitizing platforms. As our slogan says, the customer is the king. Hey, each one of you should put a pat on your shoulders. each one of you, including the National and Social Corporation staff, they're also customers. So pat yourself. We are committed to respond to your needs as our king whenever the call is made. Through previous engagements, we have noted some water supply gaps in various areas, especially Greater Kampala. To address these shortfalls, the corporation is currently implementing two main projects within the GKMA, that is the Kampala Water, Lake Victoria Water and Sanitation Project, and the Protection of Lake Victoria Kampala Sanitation Program. A. Kampala Water Lake Victoria and Sanitation Project. The key components of the projects include rehabilitation and upgrading of Gaba 1 and 2, water treatment plants. Status of the project has been completed and the plant is fully operational. Congratulations. 2. Construction of the Katosi Kampala Drinking Water Treatment Plant of capacity 240,000 cubic meters per day. The status of this overall progress of works is at 80% completion, and staff houses, however, staff houses are fully completed. They are not yet occupied. I witnessed them with my board members yesterday, and who knows, maybe there will be one reserved for board members. They were looking good. 4. Water supply and sanitation to the informal settlements. The status, procurement of works contractor is ongoing. Works are expected to commence in February 2021. 5. Water network rehabilitation, extension, and rezoning. Status, detailed design is ongoing. Protection of, second project is protection of Lake Victoria Kampala Sanitation Program. The project entails 3 main components. Component 1, construction and operation of Nachivubo, Bogolovi wastewater treatment plant. The status is currently 99% completed, with the liquid process stream already operational, and currently the plant is receiving and treating wastewater. 2, construction of Nachivubo and Kinawataka sewer networks project. The status is the project was completed and is fully operational. And the board members, you witnessed this one. The community may not be aware that this is one of the benefits of having a baraza like this one. 3, construction of Kinawataka pretreatment and a pumping station project. Status project was completed and was also fully operational. With these projects, we are confident that the water and sanitation needs within the Greater Kampala metropolitan area will be covered up to the year 2050. As we look forward, the obtained feedback from the Baraza is essential as we prepare the next corporate plan, 2021-2024, and our 5-year strategic direction for 2021 to 2026. This will form the strategic anchorage that will guide the corporation's activities through the next 5 years. As I conclude, first of all, I'm very proud to be in unity with many of my former students, as the MD narrated. I'm very proud of all of them. I'm very proud of the National Water and Sewage Corporation. I said so when first day I came here, because for many years of being associated with the profession of engineering, I was always hearing of national water, reading about national water, even as I travel in different parts of the world, different aspects of Uganda National Water and Sewage Corporation. So National Water has made a name for itself and for Uganda. Please remain. So our stakeholders be proud of having National Water and Sewage Corporation, which is professionally run with highly trained individuals. I am really very proud of it. So as I conclude, I want to thank our parent ministry, the Ministry of Water and Environment, and the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development for the overall guidance and financial support that they have rendered to us in an effort to improve access to water and sanitation throughout the country. I wish to thank the management of the National Water and Sewage Corporation for their continued commitment towards attaining the government strategic objective and aspiration. To our esteemed customers, we thank you for your support and encourage you to continue paying your bills in time. I'm glad our Chief Moderator declared that even the last bill, he ordered the right person in the home to take care of it. So I think the financial director is already warming up or has already warmed up. So other customers should take a lead or should take a lesson. Thank you, Mr. Kasumba. Finally, to our development partners, and by the way, to our government, because there's so much that the government has done. You know, when we thank the minister is part of government, but we are very grateful to the government role. Even getting resources from development partners, if there's no goodwill set by our own government, nothing can work. So we are grateful to our government, who have contributed to the financing of our projects. Thank you for the continuous support in enabling National Water and Sewage Corporation achieve its goals and improving the lives of many Ugandans. I thank you for listening to me, and I hope I've used less than 10 minutes. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Chair. Some voices, Chair, were cut out for certain professions. I know you from being a seismic engineer, but every time you speak, you sound like somebody announcing results. But I also like how trendy you are. It's only Engineer Chigundu that can say Twitter. And for those of you who didn't see, you should see how trendy his shoes are. Engineer Chigundu is just, and that's why for those of us who knew you a little outside that commission, we're praying you would have life out of the commission so people know how nice a man you are. And I'm glad Allah has allowed that to happen. Allow me on your behalf as well to introduce those who serve alongside yourself, which include Lady Rachel Mbabazi Chichoncho, who is with us. She's also part of the board. She could wave so that we see who she is. And that also includes Mr. George Rungu, who is with us. We'd also like to see you. Fantastic. He also belongs to our category of those of us who have good heads. You know, I said yesterday, and I continue to insist, God will never allow a badly shaped head to be bald-headed. Those are usually covered with hair. And it also, the board includes Lady Sarah Anyiru, who is also with us. Thank you so much. It also includes Honorable Kano Basaliza, retired. He's also with us. Thank you so much, with his mask as well. And it also includes Dr. Silva Mgisha, whose contract will always be extended. He's also with us. And then the board secretary is Lady Edith Katete, who is with us here. Now, because we are very interactive, I do not know if there is anyone with a burning question that cannot go on Twitter or on Facebook or Instagram or any other gram. If that can't go that direction, or be sent by email or off our call centers and lines, or walk in here. We also do have an interactive session after this. If you have that nature of question, then you can ask it. If there is one, you raise up your hand and ask it. It doesn't seem, is there one? Yes, there's one here. I would not deny you the time, knowing the season in which we are. You've got about 5 minutes, yes.
Thank you so much. I first and foremost want to appreciate the Chairman Board of Governors, Chairman Board, sorry, and the MD, together with the entire team. Thank you very much for this baraza. The other time when I was here, I thanked you greatly because you have sold the name of Uganda outside Uganda. We have the best water in Africa, and for that reason, mumukubireko mungalo. But I have this against national water. I happen to be the mayor of Nakawa Division. Doctor, you taught me engineering. And I remembered Dr. Chigundu was he also taught me at master's level. On a number of times, we have had our roads worked on, but the unfortunate bit is that immediately we have finished them, then you come and cut, and you take long to reinstate, and eventually our roads get deteriorated, and we begin having terrible accidents that has even led to death of some of our people. I pray, this is my prayer, that let us work together as partners in this, so that as we are making these roads, can't you basically work with us to make sure that at least we put ducts or trunks, so that we can, trunks basically, so that we can be able to have harmonized works. The other one is on the sewer line. We want to appreciate you. We even had an ordinance recently. KCC had an ordinance. This ordinance is supposed to support water quality, because we don't want any traditional latrines in Kampala anymore. And recently we had a sewer network in Mutungo, but I requested to be connected, and up to now there is no feedback. I wonder why. If we have a network but people cannot connect to it, and yet we have even an ordinance requesting all people around that network to be connected. We are not accepting any more plans without connection to the national sewer to support national water in that. The other one is that we want to request government. I don't know whether we have government officials here. Yes, you have said water is very cheap. True, water is cheap. But the only way we can prevent these diseases is by having even a more cheaper water to desist people from collecting water from these other sources that have water with fecal matter. I don't know why government puts a tax on water. We have had a number of people diseased going to hospitals where there is no even medicine. And the capital of Uganda is a productive community. The only we have to fight to make sure that we get revenue is by having people who are not diseased. And as such, we believe that if we could have palatable water for our communities, because all the sources, the underground sources, are contaminated with the fecal matter. And there is no way we can tell people not to go and use that water. And there is a time, I don't know what had happened, we lacked national water. And because of lack of water for about, I think, 4 or 5 days, people went to those sources and began collecting water. So what are we going to do in the cases that maybe there is maintenance of the infrastructure of national water? What is going to be done? So it's my prayer that we also think about having these sewer networks so that we can reduce on the number of people that go to basically these sources that are contaminated. Thank you so much.
Thank you, but just before you leave the mic, because we've been talking about engaging stakeholders. If in constructing the roads at your level, you put the ducts and then you show these people where to pass their lines, would that work?
There must be cost sharing.
Okay, fine.
So I want that money, and that's the reason that I'm going to Parliament to make sure that we will be for funds.
The second one, on cost.
Yes.
We all know how cheap exercise is. It's actually free.
What is free?
You just get up and jog. But people still have lifestyle diseases. So maybe it's not an issue of cost.
It is.
Let me repeat what I said.
Yes.
Exercise is free. You get up and jog or dig. People still have lifestyle diseases that are a result of not exercising. So do you still continue to argue that it is cost?
I still maintain that partly cost is very, very important.
At least we have upgraded to partly.
Partly.
Fantastic. Take your seat.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Unfortunately, we've run out of time, but I think you want to answer somebody? Yes. Go on and answer that, Doc. Since it is your student, deal with him.
You know, Engineer Barimwezo, yes, he's my student. And I'm sure he was talking to gain what he should be gaining at this time. But having said that, he's one of the best people you will find, very, very objective. In most cases, he has raised a number of issues. And Mr. Sam, thank you for answering him. Actually, if you are cutting these roads, it is very advisable for you to put those ducts. We can discuss the costs, because it has become a little bit difficult for us to coordinate, to know when you are actually going to construct a road. So I think let's discuss, and we agree that as a matter of principle, when you are designing a road, you provide for what? For ducts. Because Engineer Marmuezo, you are an engineer. And the people who design these roads are engineers. I studied civil engineering. I know when you do highway engineering, traffic engineering, you also do water engineering. So there's no engineer who doesn't know that water will eventually be what? Be needed. So let's coordinate on this. We'll see how we can provide these ducts. But having said that, Engineer Barumwezo, I've met you in several conferences in developed countries. Cutting a road is not a crime. Cutting a road is not a crime. Where it is a problem is where you mentioned that we take long to what? To reinstate. And we take that feedback in good faith, that whenever we cut a road, and it's good the general manager of Kampala is here, it is the feedback we take, we should reinstate as quickly as what? As possible. But you being an engineer also, you know that you can't cut a road now and restate it now. You need time for settlement to do what? To take place. So, it is, you can't eat your cake and have it. You cannot continue to want to see a road. You also want water, but you don't want the road to be what? to be cut. So when we cut the road, there's some time that is allowed for settlement to take, because if you just put and you put tarmac, it will just wave, isn't it? So sometimes you let it to do natural consolidation, and then you come and compact very well and restate the what? The road. But I think we take it in good faith that if we've been laying, that is going to be handled. Now, the issue of asking for a sewer connection, and you have not got it, we want to apologize. We have been people who have been affected by COVID. I can assure you that for the last 3 or 4 months, we are not buying pipes. Connecting you on sewer means we must have a what? A pipe. So we are not buying pipes because we are controlling our costs. But as I have said, we have now rolled out pipe supplies. And I'm sure the general manager is here. He is going to, it should not only be you, it should be everybody who have applied for connections, be it water, be it sewage. We should now roll out the what? The connections. So COVID affected all of us. It affected our revenues, and we've been having challenges, but thank God we are slowly recovering from what? From COVID. The issue of taxes, again, engineer, you know, we engineers, when we go into economics or politics, we get problems. Never, you are going to parliament, never advocate for free things, especially when these commodities or these services need money to produce them. Now, you have heard of Katosi. Government is putting a lot of money on what? On Katosi. Where is it getting that money from? From heaven? Definitely from taxes. Now, you are advocating for free, for tax-free water. Do you know whom you are advocating for? You are going into politics. The people who have water, for your information, in this country, the majority are rich people like you. And the people who don't have water in this country are the poor people you want to represent. So are you really advocating that you, the rich person, you don't want to pay taxes so that the poor person can continue not to have water? Let's be careful. The kind of public policies, we advocate. Eh? So there is a whole raft of economics of water that you ought to know. So don't shoot yourself in the leg unknowingly. You remove taxes, there will be no money to build Katosi. If there is no money to build Katosi, water will only stay with the rich people in Kororo, in Naguru, in Muyenga. The poor people you want to represent in parliament will continue not to have what? To have water. So let's be careful. Government needs us to pay taxes. You should only ask yourself, how are these taxes being used? That should be the question for a politician. Lastly, I was with my former lecturer. He's my board chairperson, but sometimes he's also my former lecturer. He said, if you really want to show us that you are also very good, make sure all the roads which are in Kampala also have tarmac. Isn't it? That's where I'm going. Make sure they have tarmac. Make sure every little money you correct. You don't use it on allowances. You don't use it on traveling. You use it to tarmac the what? The roads. And by working like that, Uganda will be a better what? A better country. I thank you very much.
The Chinese say, "Omusajja nnyonnyola." But again, I wonder how much water can be bought by a salary of an MP. So if you donated your salary to lower the cost of water, I think that could work as one of the options. I have heard Engineer Mugisha saying, never advocate for free things. You can imagine how much the moderator will be paid. Those of you at home, if you find a road that National Water has cut and it hasn't yet been tarmacked again, there is an engineering process going on. It is called consolidation. And lastly, but by no means least, There are things you cannot avoid. If a mother cannot push a baby, you cannot say to the doctor, tosala mukazi wange. Caesarean has to happen. So sometimes that's what life is. That there's got to be a Caesarean section of the road because the baby has got to be born. And every time there's a Caesarean section, there's a scar. You only hope that the doctor does the section very well and that the scar is not big. But each time you see that Caesarean scar, you thank God that the baby was born. That's how we parents think. Those who don't have children, I don't know. But allow me to thank the panel, give them a very big hand clap. And then I'll finish off on behalf of the chair by saying, by virtue of the authority entrusted to me, I would like to announce not the winner, but the man who has been with the responsibility of bringing this to a close, has decided to unceremoniously close it and begin a networking section. When you meet me outside, you can greet me and enjoy company with celebrity. See you soon.
If you want to benefit from the cabbage, you can decide to go for the dry season planting or the wet season planting. Those are key things to look at. But the other bit is about the yield and the maturity period.
Agriculture has been for years forming the backbone of Uganda's economy, contributing approximately 37% of local growth, with 80% of the population practicing agriculture.
Green tea is different from black tea.